Welcome. Today we're doing a deep dive into Nanjing Photo Booth, a really powerful Chinese film. You might know it internationally as Dead to Rights. It's a historical war drama, directed by Shen Ao, and it's definitely been getting a lot of attention lately. Our mission really is to unpack how it tackles such a tragic event, why it's been surprisingly successful, and maybe some of the complex talks it started. We're going to look at how this story, just centered on a photo booth, digs up a crucial, difficult truth. Okay, so let's get into it. The film throws you right into the deep end, the 1937 Nanjing massacre. It's a horrific event. Over 300,000 civilians reportedly killed. A known tragedy, yes. But what's really compelling, I think, is the angle they take. Our main character, he's a postman, a Chang, and he survives by hiding out in a photo studio, posing as a photo developer. But then inside that studio, they stumble upon something hidden in Japanese army film. It's photographic proof. Actual pictures of the atrocities. And right then, his mission changes completely. It comes about smuggling those photos out, getting that truth out to the world. It's desperate stuff.
Beyond just the plot device, what makes the photos themselves so resonant here?
Well, the symbolism of the photos is just profound, isn't it? They function as this undeniable evidence objective, which is a really potent counter to historical denial, especially with the Nanjing massacre still being, controversial in some circles. The film uses these images, these actual images in some cases, I believe, to really underscore that fight for historical truth, for justice. It connects the past to now and even points towards the future, demanding accountability.
Yeah, that makes sense. And maybe that specific artistic choice, focusing on the truth within the photos, is part of why it hit so big. Because despite the subject matter being incredibly heavy, Nanjing Photo Booth was a massive success at the box office. We're talking over 2.6 billion Chinese yuan. That's around 360 million US dollars, making it the third highest grossing film in China for 2025. That's huge. And it wasn't just there. Globally, it got praise too, like a 98% popcorn meter score on Fandango. Audiences really responded, and an 8.6 to 8.7 on Douban in China, which is a big deal. So how do you explain that level of success for such a difficult film?
Right, it's a key question, and I think connecting the dots, a lot of it does come back to the director, Shen Ao. His direction is often described as restrained. He avoids making the violence sensational or getting overly sentimental. Instead, the horror is conveyed often with, minimal graphic detail. The focus stays on the story, the human element, the discovery. And that choice, that restraint, it actually deepens the emotional impact, I find. It makes the tragedy feel more authentic, more profound somehow. It pulls you in rather than just shocking you. It avoids feeling gratuitous.
Okay, so pulling it all together then, what's the takeaway for you, the viewer? And for the wider conversation about history, the film seems to have this dual message, right? On one hand, it's a reminder, remember the past to value peace. But it also seems to directly confront what some call Japanese historical amnesia. Mm-hmm. It explicitly argues, it seems, that acknowledging history is step one for any real reconciliation.
And that's where it gets complicated. Because while loads of people praise the film's emotional weight, you heard reports, right? Audiences sitting in silence long after the credits rolled, just completely moved. But it also sparked controversy, definitely. There were these incidents described as forced solemnity in some places, and even criticism that the film might be, quote, inciting hatred. Mm. So it really shows that complex nature of collective memory. A film can powerfully bring it back, trigger this deep reflection, but it can also potentially stir up nationalist feelings or reopen old wounds instead of healing them. It's a very, very fine line it's walking.
Yeah, really fine line. Ultimately, though, Nanjing Photo Booth feels like this powerful statement that acknowledging historical truth, however painful, is fundamental. It's the bedrock if you want to build real peace. It's almost a call for, global attention to being honest about history. So thinking about all this, what stands out to you about how a single film can manage to convey historical truth so effectively, yet at the same time ignite such varied, sometimes really challenging reactions about memory and identity?